In this help video, I will walk you through a complete process of how to configure the sales section of the system. Before the sales section can be fully operational, you need to configure it, and this is how you do it. Under the settings option, go to the sales menu and select settings. This is the main configuration for the sales and invoices area, as before you start creating invoices, you need to configure this section. On the text field under first invoice ID, indicate the ID number of the first invoice that you are going to create using the system. As you most likely have been using another invoicing system like a manual invoicing, simply start the number from the last invoice you had +1. If the last invoice you had was 120, then under first invoice ID indicate 121. Then check or uncheck the option to include proforma invoices in outstanding invoice list. The importance of including them is so that you can easily trace all invoices that have not been fully settled, whether they are regular or proforma invoices. Then select the account where money will be deposited when payments are received. In most cases, the account should be the bank account, as this is the usual storage for money collected from invoices. After selecting the account, check or uncheck the option to automatically book incoming payments. Checking the option means that once a payment is accepted, it is directly recorded in the book of accounts, while unchecking the option means that you have left an allowance to delete or correct payments made before booking them. The advantage of leaving it unchecked is that you can have someone else verifying and approving the payments before they are permanently booked into the book of accounts, and thus ensuring that all payments booked have been approved and are correct. The next step is to indicate the signatory of the invoices. You can either use the signature of the person in creating the invoice, and this is the person currently logged onto the system, or you can uncheck it, leaving the system to automatically pick the fixed signature of the invoices, and this is usually the company that is sending the invoice. Under the payment details for the invoices, write a headline and the main notice. These two will appear on the bottom of the invoice right before the signature. The headline is a summary of the main notice and could be something like "Make all check payments to indicate the company name." And the main notice could be details required to make the payments, like the due date, the conditions for overdue payments. Finally, save the changes of the invoices and proceed on with the configuration. Next, you need to configure the payment terms. To do so, go to the sales menu and select payment terms. The payment terms define how many days a client has to pay a given invoice. Different clients can have different payment terms depending on the individual agreements with the organization. Note that you need to create at least one payment term for you to be able to generate invoices. To create a payment term, click on the New Payment Term button. Then give the payment term a name. I will give mine 30 days net. After giving the payment term a name, indicate the number of days for the invoice to be paid. I will give it 30 days. Save the changes and proceed to create another payment term if need be. An existing payment term can be edited by clicking on the action button and making the necessary changes, then saving them afterwards. These two steps of configuring the settings and the payment terms make the first two steps in configuring the sales section. If you want to learn more, check out part 2 of the Uhasibu sales how to configure sales section.